Vote third party in mass and watch their heads roll. Vote third party in mass, you're forcing their hand.
2006, I started jumping down a bunch of rabbit holes trying to figure out what was going on in the world. Looked into Bilderberg and Trilateral Commission, Council on Foreign Relations, Federal Reserve, all kinds of stuff like that. One of the rabbit holes led me to something called Verichip. It was a microchip being produced by IBM. It's about the size of a grain of rice. People were putting it in their hand. It would contain all of their medical data and their financial data. And the problem with that, of course, is that that's similar to what it talks about in the Bible with the mark of the beast. And there'll be a mark in your hand, your head of your forehead, and your hand, and you won't be able to buy or sell without it. So I thought, well, I'll go talk to a pastor about this. So I went to Calvary Chapel in Gulf Breeze. I ended up getting pawned off on an associate pastor who looked at me like I was saying that the government put a microchip in my head. I tried to tell him about YouTube. YouTube was new at the time. This is 20 years ago. So for 20 years, I've talked to every pastor and priest and said, hey, what do you think about this thing where they're going to put this chip in your hand? And, you know, some people, the only people that ever actually paid attention, honestly, were Jehovah's Witnesses. Make of that what you will. So 14 years later in 2020, oh my God, cash is dirty and we're all going to get the boogeyman virus. How are we going to know if people got their clot shots? We all should put chips in our hands. And so they started doing that again. And you can look in Sweden, they all do this stuff, right? So, you know, a lot of these people talk about the flock cameras and the data centers, and they're like, oh, it's about surveillance. But really, it's about control. It's about controlling your life. It's about controlling your purchases, attaching you to a social credit system. And people like me have been warning you about this for years. And now the normies are starting to figure it out. So you're getting in more and more trouble as this goes on because they're starting to figure out what's going on, that you're building a digital prison around them. And for the dummies who say, like, oh, I don't have nothing to hide, well, then you must have forgot 6 years ago when it was illegal to go paddleboarding or open your gym because people like you said, oh, my God, you're not protecting everybody, so you don't deserve to have a small business. And it crashed this economy. And most of the people who are behind that won't take any credit for that, but that is what happened. So I'm just here to tell you that this is part of a much larger battle. This is part of it. And you can laugh and think it's silly. It's cool. But it is what it is. Like the facts speak for themselves. Like what's being built around us is one giant prison. And they're slowly doing it. And this is being done by people. At this point, you should have figured out that people like me that said, hey, you know what? They're blackmailing these guys. There's this dude, Jeffrey Epstein. Nobody believed me. Turned out I was right. And both sides were being blackmailed by Israel. I'm going to throw that out too. That's who he worked for. And I know I'm not allowed to say that because pretty soon it'll be illegal for me to say that. It'll be illegal for me to go, hey, who did that guy work for? Some random dude can't blackmail the most powerful people in the world. It takes real power to do something like that. So how was that done? It was done by this system of these satanic pedophiles who are now seeking to control your entire life. And you can call me crazy, but more and more people are starting to wake up to it. So have a good day.